Greetings everyone from all of us here at Geiger Pump. Our goal with the series on sealing solutions is to let everyone know or get everyone up to speed with some of the more common and complex sealing technologies on the market. Our first segment is going to be on packing, the traditional way to seal liquid from the atmosphere. Packing's been around for many years, oldest technology in the industry. Still has usages today in our market, and what we're going to talk about is some of those usages, how to best install the packing, and the best ways to increase your mean time between failure. So packing is a fibrous material made up in several rings of packing, and typically with a lantern ring in between for external lubrication. The materials are vast, and it's very critical to understand several things with how to apply packing correctly. So first of all, you want to know what your shaft speed is, very important. The processed liquid, again, is very important, and knowing the pH, the solid content, etc. Also, temperatures are important, and pressures. Once you have all those parameters, then we can properly select the right material and grade of packing. Packing is installed in a stuffing box of a pump, and the purpose of the packing is to control the amount of leakage to the atmosphere. Packing must always leak for it to operate properly. Generally, what you're looking for there, again, is a controlled amount of leakage, probably 10 to 12 drops per minute per 1 inch of shaft size. Anything more or less than that, you're going to run the risk of not very good pump operation. So, if the packing's too tight, for instance, you're going to experience heat at the packing area and definitely wear on the shaft sleeve. The shaft sleeve is used to protect the main shaft of the pump from any of the wear that you would get. So the idea is, if you do get wear, when you get wear, you replace the shaft sleeve and not the entire shaft. Less expensive replacement. Let's talk about the installation of packing and the actual piece of equipment that it's going in. So the first thing is the stuffing box bore, or we'll call it the OD of the packing. You want to make sure that that is square all the way through the pump, and you don't have any grooves or nicks or anything that would allow external leakage on the OD of the packing. So that's important. And the only way you can do that is you have to disassemble the pump and then measure it and take a look at it. The second thing you want to make sure is your shaft sleeve is in good condition. If there are grooves and nicks and wear patterns in the shaft sleeve, it doesn't matter how much you tighten the packing up, it's still going to leak excessively or too much. So next thing is your packing gland. You want to make sure that the packing gland fits snugly in the stuffing box, and then those are the areas of concern before you begin to install the packing. Now, assuming we have picked the correct packing material, there are many types. What I have here is a graphite packing, which is probably the most prevalent in the industry. We also have a Teflon packing, which is generally used on chemicals and food grade type services. You'll notice on the rings there are severed cuts in the packing. It's important that when you install the packing that the rings are not aligned like this. They need to be staggered. So, for instance, you put the first ring in at 12 o'clock, put the next ring in at 6 o'clock, and then 3 and 9, and then repeat that all the way through. Generally, in the center of the packing, depending on how many rings you need per the pump manufacturer, let's say you have 3 rings, and then you'll have a lantern ring, and then maybe 3 more rings. The purpose of the lantern ring is to lubricate the packing from an external source. So For instance, if you were pumping a slurry or a pulp in the paper industry, or abrasives in really any industry, or chocolate in the food industry, maybe sometimes you don't want those liquids to escape, and you want to use an external source for lubricating the packing. So in a chocolate pump, you want to use a food grade oil or something like that, or grease, or anything that would be compatible. You certainly don't want to mix something with chocolate. In a pulp and paper plant, generally they're using water to flush that area. Many times you'll find that lantern rings are not used. And in that case, what's going to happen is the processed liquid is going to serve as the lubricant for your packing. So if you were pumping a corrosive or abrasive liquid, or something that had solids in it, it goes to say that you're going to eventually wear out the sleeve and the packing and have to replace it. When you are packing a pump, initially, it's very important to allow that packing to break in. So break in means on initial startup, the packing's dry, the sleeve's dry, the pump's dry. You want to allow the liquid to flow through the packing to lubricate it, and then gradually tighten up on the packing gland to control the amount of leakage back to that 10 to 12 drips per minute. On a pump, you'll have a gland that looks like that, and you'll see a recessed area. That recessed area fits internally into the stuffing box, and that's what compresses the packing to control the leakage. You'll see on the pump we have illustrated here that you probably have maybe an inch or an inch and a half of space between the stuffing box and the face of the gland. That allows you room to tighten up on the packing as the pump's in service and you begin to wear. When that packing gland is pressed flush against the housing, you have nowhere to go. It's time to replace the packing, and at that point you probably need to replace the sleeve as well. There are many liquids out in the marketplace, in industry, that are very difficult to seal. And they could be difficult to seal for many different reasons. Again, like I mentioned, they have abrasives in it. They have slurry in it. They have products that solidify. They have viscosity, high viscosity liquids that are very hard to seal. And those are the areas where, today packing is utilized. We have so many different options available to us in the market today than we had many, many years ago. So I just mentioned several instances where you'd want to maybe consider using packing. The alternative to that is the mechanical seal manufacturers will tell you that they can seal just about anything today with controlling the type of seal you use and the type of flush plans that you use. We'll talk about that later on in the series, but since we're talking about packing now, those are the areas where you might consider using packing today. No, you can absolutely look at other options today, depending on what style of pump you have. There are triple lip seals available. There are O-ring seals available. Every manufacturer has their own version of that, and we are certainly willing to talk to you more about some of the options that are available with packing. Most pumps today, if they are packed, can be relatively easily converted to mechanical seals or some other triple lip type arrangement or O-ring type arrangement. Of course, when you're doing that, you want to make sure that your pump mechanically is in good operating condition, and the parts that need to be replaced are replaced, and then from there you'll be fine.